Hi there and welcome back to Timberborn. Now I won't lie, we left last episode off a little bit on the rough side. I do believe we've got the food and water situation sorted, so it's really just waiting the population, building back up again, and then we can look at where to go next. Today's plan is pretty straightforward. I would like to get a little more housing in for the beavers, and then also wanting to get our first lot of power in, try and get some production sorted, and then also we desperately need to start getting the water flowing, so that's going to be one of the top priorities. To start things off, however, I'm just going to quickly put in some stairs and a little platform here. This will just sort of set us up ready for putting the next row of houses on, but I'll just let them build that first, that way they're not wasting the logs building the houses before they can even reach them, so just go ahead and do that. Whilst they get on with that, I do have a small surplus of potatoes just starting to build up now, so I'm going to get a grill in and we'll start getting grilled potatoes. I think I mentioned in the previous episode, the good thing about the potatoes is it only takes an extra couple of days to grow, and then it actually turns from one harvested potato into 4 grilled potatoes, so it's really quite a nice deal you're getting there. Also going to go ahead and throw in our storage here as well, and then we'll set that for grilled potatoes, and that way we can sort of slowly build up a surplus of potatoes, grilled potatoes. I do believe that'll be really nice going forward. And also the fact that adding extra food groups actually slowly increases your well-being, so it's all about just adding a bit of diversity. It's good to see they've got the grill put in place now, so that's great. And I do believe it's actually about time that we start getting the planks producing again, because we are really going to need them going forward. I don't mind me here whilst I just do a little bit of micromanaging. Kinda got a bit too used to this in my hardcore runs when I was first playing Timberborn. Kinda got used to pausing buildings that I don't need and then reducing number of workers in certain buildings like the district centre. I don't need all 4 builders because I'm not building that much. I don't have enough materials, so it's a good idea to knock that back, and I want to get them focused on where I actually need them. Now, I am sitting editing this obviously, and I just noticed that the drought approaching card obviously just came up, and I am actually pausing the water production now. It was a bit of a bonehead move, I must admit, so yeah, I'm as confused as you are. So if you're sitting screaming at your monitor, so am I. I've just realised I've had these water pumps paused since the last drought, so I better just quickly activate them, try and get the water building up again. That sounds like a good idea. And I'm just going to pause this grill just in case I need them elsewhere. It's the drought hit, so I better just pause one of these water pumps at least to now stop the water running completely dry. And I notice the water is getting a little bit low, so I'll just pause this one just now. We have got a decent amount of water sitting there. I wouldn't mind getting some science points back up, so I'm just going to quickly start up these inventors again. And it's great to see that the logs are rolling in from these lumberjack flags now as well. Thank goodness for that, we're actually getting somewhere. Now comes the really fun stuff. We're actually going to put a couple of these geothermal fields, my apologies, to use. We're going to start exploiting them and producing power, because we're definitely going to need a constant supply of power that doesn't rely on workers. That's the number one goal here. I want to remove the need for putting beavers into the power wheels. Now don't get me wrong, the power wheel idea was great to start with. It was good being able to just quickly rush in there, get the power wheels set up, get the power shaft set up, and that's a done sort of thing. But that is the biggest problem, is it just costs labour. So we're going to get rid of them, and the geothermal engines are actually fairly cheap, only costing logs and planks, so we're getting close to that stage of being able to produce a reasonable amount of that, so we'll start getting the geothermal engines in place now. In a second, why have these crops actually died out? Oh, for God's sake, I actually forgot to turn on the power wheels again to start producing water. Ay, what a dummy. Another good reason for putting in the geothermal engines. At least I won't be turning them on and off, so the aquifer, the ancient drill, will be constantly getting supply power. Yeah, another good reason to have them in place. Dear me. Why are all the beavers thirsty now? Jeez, oh, what done now? Well, it would help if I also turned on the water pumps. My memory is terrible, I tell you. At least I should let them get sorted. Sorry guys, again, I keep making small mistakes. I really hope that isn't going to affect this run too much. It's good to see they've actually made some considerable progress with this platform area, so I'll just start adding in a couple of residences that they will be able to reach. Maybe get a few more beavers in the population, that would be nice. Oh wow, those geothermal engines look absolutely wicked. I've never actually seen them before. I've not even seen any videos with them yet, so that looks wicked. I always love the design and everything, all the effort that the developers have put into Timberborn. It just looks fantastic. So bravo to them for that one. I'm starting to feel like we're in a really good place here. We've got water situation sorted, we've got food sorted, and we're just going to the next steps. So in anticipation of actually running power across here, I'm thinking I'll bridge over the power shafts rather than the other way about. Because we don't have gears yet, that means we can avoid using the vertical power shafts for the moment. So I'll just bridge over that, run a power shaft from the housing side all the way across and across these platforms as well. Now I just want to quickly see if I select to demolish this, will it give me any resources back? It doesn't look like it, so when that core goes, it's not like I'm going to get any of its materials anyway, so don't need to worry about dismantling it. Now I've just changed my mind on where I want these power shafts on. I kind of want to give myself a little extra space, so I'll just push it right out to the borderline and I'll run back from there. I feel like that should give me a decent amount of space for maybe an extra farm or extra housing. I don't know, I'll figure it out as I go. And I know I've talked about it enough, so it's about time I actually look into a bit of gear production. I know the power wheel won't be supplying quite enough power for it, but it'll at least supply some power to keep it running. But with that in mind, I do want to start getting some power shafts across here. That way I don't have to rely on the power wheel. But we'll see how I go. Just going to quickly bin that storage. I don't really need the metal scrap at the moment, but it's really just to get out of the way because I just find random storages like that kind of clutter up the place. I probably could have used it for something else, but I'm just going to dismantle it. But still quickly place down a small storage just to keep the scrap from degrading on the floor, because things do degrade over time if they're just left lying on the floor, so it's a good idea just to get it packed away just in case you need it for another day. I do have quite a few buildables sort of backing up now, so I'm just going to up the builder count in the district centre and we'll see if that can hurry things along a little bit, especially with the power shafts, because I should have a surplus of logs sitting there. I know I don't have many planks, but we'll work on that as well as we go. Just going to quickly whiz past a lot of this because it's more or less just a lot the same. Just sort of pass some time as we build some of the power shafts and focus on a couple other bits and bobs. Hey, that's just got lumberjack flags for the oak logs again, so kind of glad I prioritised that little bridge section there. And we should now actually be able to get the logs back in, so that should be fantastic. Oh, got a couple of stranded beavers here. Right, we'll just need to quickly demolish a power shaft or two and just let them out. It's the only thing when you've got to watch out for is beavers actually building themselves into corners like that, and you just have to demolish bits and bobs just to let them back out or build. Silly beavers. Yes. I kind of lost sight of the fact that there's an unstable core here about to destroy the ancient drill, and yet I'm still running power shafts down to it. Correct me if I'm wrong, that seems a bit redundant. So we have to go for a new plan, and we do have 3 aquifers down here. We've got these 2 down the bottom, and we've got this one right here. I think it seems an obvious choice which one I should go for, but I'm just going to tell you I'm going for this one. So I'm just going to quickly run a path across, put some stairs down, and that'll allow them to actually gain access for building the drill, and then we'll figure out power after that. Obviously we've just put in the nice power shaft running right by this area, so that's going to make life a lot easier. And if you haven't figured out by now, yes, I'm a very forgetful person, so yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of silly mistakes just due to forgetting things, I think, and I do apologise for that. Now, seeing as all this ends up contaminated by bad water anyway, it doesn't seem like a terrible idea just to move my industry up here, so I'm just going to quickly delete the lumber mill and the gear workshop, and I'll just move them up here. Seems like a good idea, and at least that way I can expand my industry a little bit since I've got the power up here as well. Hopefully that works out. And I'm just going to continue the theme of bridging over the power shafts just to avoid using gears. Because if I can avoid using gears, that means I'm avoiding using planks. Because we need planks to make gears. Just in case you weren't aware. I'm guessing if you are watching these videos, you probably either do watch other Timberborn content, you do know, but I'm going to make you aware anyway. And since we have the geothermal engine set up, we might as well just delete all this down here. We don't need it anymore anyway. Because they're not providing much power in comparison, so. And it frees up a couple of workers. Win-win for everyone. Something worth noting though is the ancient drill takes 200 horsepower, and the drills that we're going to be using, the aquifer drills, they actually require 400 horsepower. So they are a bit power hungry, but we can work with it. Now in the interest of full disclosure, I'm afraid I ended up killing off my beavers again, and then having to do an auto reload from an autosave. So despite putting in 4 extra inventors huts and deciding last minute I'll go out and get a couple of relics up to the top of the logs here, yeah, nothing actually worked, so I ended up having to reload from an autosave where the core hadn't exploded just yet, but we'll just start off from there. The problem being is I want to try and give you a decent first season, and I don't want to keep restarting properly. I want to keep trying to progress, and if that means that I'm having to reload from an autosave every now and again, then I'm happy with that. It's not a full hardcore run, it's just a challenging map, and there will be times where I might end up hitting a wall where the autosaves don't go back far enough if I've made a major mistake, so that's why I'm trying to play it slow and safe. So, sorry about that. Yep, welcome back. And my first sort of priority here is I'm going to try and get some lumber mills down. I'm going to get a couple of gear workshops going. I also know that I really need to get across into the logs just across the river here, so we'll go ahead and do that. I'm also going to make my way down to the 2 relics rather than putting in the 4 inventors huts this time round, and we'll see how this pans out. We're going to have to really start cutting down a lot of trees to supply the new lumber mills and gear workshops, so let's just go ahead and put some lumberjack flags down here, and we'll start gathering up the logs. So at this point I'm just putting in a couple of lumberjack flags just to try and gather logs a little bit quicker, just to try and speed up the process. I am also just going to quickly try and sort out the power situation going across the gear workshop, so just try and tidy things up really. I'd also like to direct a quick question towards you. If you're still watching at this point in the video, what's actually kept you watching? Is my pacing okay? Are you actually enjoying the gameplay? I just want a couple of hints here and there. As a new content creator, I want to know what you're finding interesting and how I can keep building on that. So a little bit of feedback would go a long way. So I start this day knowing fine well that I had to actually recover from another autosave. Yeah, I was a bit slow in actually getting the planks production in place. It's that pesky gear workshop, I probably shouldn't have placed it there, but we're here now, and I did eventually get it. I just I want to keep you guys up to date, and you know that it's not exactly been plain sailing, but I'm still having a good time, so it's all cool. I'm just going to quickly check on the progress of these loggers actually getting the logs in, and I want to make sure I can start pathing down towards the relics because I'm going to need those science points very soon. Now with that gear workshop built, I'm going to quickly tell them to demolish this debris here, and at least I know I can actually... All I'm waiting on is this last gear workshop building, and I can start supplying power out the other end. So I'm just going to quickly place some power shafts in for that. With those relics destroyed, I now have the science points to be able to actually build aquifer drill, so I'll just do that as well. I also learned from like the previous autosave I was just telling you about before I loaded into this one. I can actually power up the aquifer drill from the level above, so that's why I'm not worried about building down to it, which is absolutely fantastic. So at least I don't have to worry about having to produce loads of gears. I think that's why I put in the gear workshops to begin with. I never actually mentioned that out loud, so I'm just guessing. And there we go, that's the new aquifer drill built as well. Now we just need to run some power shafts down to it, and that's us absolutely golden. We'll be producing water again. I really can't wait because everybody seems to be getting a bit hungry and thirsty. So believe it or not, we actually live to fight another day. There is another drought approaching, but I'm feeling good about it. The population did take a massive hit, but the good thing, I suppose you could call it a good thing, the good thing about that is it means that we're not using as much food and drink, so whatever we manage to get in food and drink wise is going to be shared amongst a much smaller population, and that would in turn actually help us get through the drought. But we'll see how we get on in the next episode. If you did enjoy this one, I would appreciate a like, and if you want to see upcoming videos, you can quickly subscribe. And yeah, if you have any hints or tips or anything like that, any questions, let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.